Prior to last October, I think the second injury fund looked like a monstrously large problem. And then when October hit, the unemployment fund started making the second injury fund look easy almost. It's not easy, and House Bill 522 that I've sponsored and I presented it to committee, and it will probably be executed on next Tuesday, is not a fix for the second injury fund. The goal of 522 is just to get the second injury fund moving away from insolvency. The problem with the second injury fund, very simply stated, is that more money is flying out of the fund than is coming in. The second injury fund for the last 3 or 4 years has been a $60 million fund that is funded with private dollars, business dollars. And I believe at the end of 2008, we took in the usual $60 million, and we had about $80 to $81 million in obligations. If you look at major cost drivers to the second injury fund, since 1995, they have remained fairly constant, as could be expected. Hospital costs, weekly wages, inflation, anything that drains the second injury fund has remained at a fairly constant, slightly upward slope. Payouts from the second injury fund from that time, literally by the time you get to end of 2007, it's virtually off the chart, with a 200% increase since 1995 in payouts. The problem is very simple. We're paying out more money than's coming in. I don't think it's a very imaginative solution to say, well, let's just throw more money at the problem. I think it takes a certain amount of gall for us elected officials when we play with tax dollars. I think it takes an even larger amount of gall when we play with private business dollars, especially at a time when we're trying to encourage Missouri business to stay in Missouri, come to Missouri, expand your businesses, create jobs. That's the way that you jumpstart an economy and keep an economy going. Don't ever believe any elected official that says we create jobs. That's a myth. Business creates jobs. What government's role in that is we should create a positive business climate for business to flourish. And taking more money, every time we raise the cap, the surcharge for the second injury fund is capped at 3%. We did that legislatively in 2005, I believe. Every percentage point that we would raise that would take an additional $20 million out of Missouri business. This would be a really poor time to do that, but that's what some people want to do, is just throw more money at the problem. We have options with the second injury fund. Most of them aren't good. We could do nothing. That's an option. It's pretty much what we've done the last 4 years. And I think the danger in that is that not only are we ignoring truly injured workers, but I think we would end up in court with a judge or a group of judges telling us, here's what you must do. We tend not to like that. We can abolish the second injury fund. That's an option. 22 other states have done that. We could return it to its original intent, which was a veterans program in 1943. I don't think that's a viable option. I think even if I could align the planets and get it through the House, I don't think it would make it through the Senate, and I think it would end up with a veto on it anyway if all that miracle managed to happen. Or we can adjust it, and that's what House Bill 522 does. It keeps the cap in place on the surcharge. It tries to reduce costs. We are taking PPDs, permanent partial disabilities, out of the second injury fund. That would slide them probably back into workers' compensation. Now, I've got a call into NCCI, the rate setters for workers' comp, to see are we doing the right thing? Are we helping the situation on one hand in the second injury fund, but creating another problem somewhere else in workers' compensation. That's the last little piece of information that I need to go forward on, and then we will go into executive session and vote on that bill in committee next Tuesday. It's not a fix. It's an honest effort to move the second injury fund away from insolvency. Doing nothing is pretty much what's happened the last 4 years, except the only progress we've made toward the second injury fund and workers' compensation is the abrogation of the Shamel decision. That was a very positive step, and it got done, and I wish we'd done it quicker.